And yeah, good morning. Welcome everybody. So we really appreciate having you here this morning for our session about how to maximize your online conversions, best practices for 2021. This is taking place as part of Leeds Digital Festival, and we're really honoured to have so many of you here to go through this session, and I hope you get value out of it. So make sure you've got your notepads at the ready. You know, this really should be an insightful session that will give you key takeaways that you can go and implement into your business. There's also the opportunity to then reach out to myself and Joanne and our respective teams following this. And yeah, really looking forward to talking you through our ideas today. And like I say, drop any questions that you have in the chat box and we'll cover those at the end of the session. So to start off with, who am I? So I'm Claire Daniels. I'm the CEO of a Leeds-based digital marketing agency called Trio Media. So Trio have been going, we're actually just about to celebrate our 4th birthday. And I'm going to give you more details on this later, as we're actually throwing a party this week that you're all invited to. But I will save that exciting news for later on. So we service like a range of business sizes in all sectors across the UK, and we predominantly look at website design and development, search engine optimization, pay-per-click and social media, along with any other of your kind of online digital marketing. Personally, I've got over 12 years experience in marketing. I've been working in strategic marketing roles for the last 10 years. And yeah, again, across quite a broad range of industries, but with a lot of specialism in the tech sector. And when I'm not kind of heading up the team at Trio Media, I also host 2 podcasts. So the North Star podcast and Bobble Pod. North Star is very much more about your career and finding your purpose. And then Bobble Pod is a specific digital marketing podcast. So those are definitely worth checking out. And I also do various public speaking about marketing as well. So you're in good hands. I'm going to pass over to Jo to introduce herself.
Hello everyone, morning. My name is Jo Berman and I am the Head of Strategic Marketing at Pure Clarity. Pure Clarity, well, as you can see in the logo, we are specialists in e-commerce personalization. We're a SaaS business and we work with e-commerce retailers of all sizes across the UK and the globe. So my background, I've got quite a lot, about 24 years experience in digital marketing, e-commerce and project management. And I've worked across a number of different sectors. So within retail, healthcare, financial services, I've worked agency side, and now for the last 4 years, I've been working in the SaaS business. So I head up the marketing team here at Pure Clarity, and you know, our remit is just about helping people who are online to grow, you know, very much what Claire does as well. So yeah, as Claire said, you're in good hands with us.
Fab. So we'll just cover off a little bit about what we're going to cover in today's session. So we're going to cover the many different types of conversions. So that could be transactional and non-transactional. I think there's quite a mix of businesses on the call today. So whether you sell directly online or you're a B2B organization, conversions are still going to be as important to you. It's just the way that the client transacts is going to be different, but we are going to cover off a whole range of them. And that's going to be looking at things on your website, such as the user experience, the content that you use, how you can personalize your website to give your users a better experience, looking at things like credibility and social proof, along with analytics and how to measure conversions as well. So hopefully you'll find this session really useful. So let's get started by, you know, what is a conversion? Because this can be something that people may get kind of confused about or have different ideas of what a conversion is. You know, we're not just looking at an online sale, but a conversion could be anything from a video view, if that's something that's important to you. So when we break it down, we look at a conversion being either transactional or non-transactional, but it's basically defining when a user on your website does something that's valuable to you. So to an e-commerce business, their number one thing is they want a sale and they want that transaction online. Whereas depending on the type of business you work for, your most valuable conversion might be someone who logs in because it's a value added service that you have on your website and you're bringing them back. So that's a conversion to see, actually, are people coming and using the website for this portal we've created for them? Have they signed up for an event that we're running? So you can track all of these different conversion types, and it's really going to come down to what's valuable to you. So for you, understanding those conversions. So yeah, we've given a list here, but this is not exhaustive. So it could be anything from a form submission, an online purchase, a download, a phone call, a login, newsletter sign up, etc., etc. Phone call is probably one that stands out there to you because it's not an online conversion, but what we need to be aware of is very much what's happening online can be driving those phone calls. So we do cover off that, looking at how you can enhance those type of conversions as well. So before we get started on what those conversions are and how to optimize for them, we also need to be aware of the fact that generating conversions online is not just happening on your website anymore. As the online space continues to grow, there's a number of platforms where you can generate conversions direct. So when we look at things like your website, yes, you might have a website, but actually you may have an online store. It may be on Amazon, maybe on eBay, on Etsy. These are all still valuable places for you to be transacting and interfacing with your users online. We've also then got Google and the paid side. So shopping ads, for example, or any other paid ads, you can transact directly now within Google. You can search for a product till the point you're ready to make a purchase. So really making sure that we're thinking about all these different places where we could generate a conversion from. We've then got social media. The rise of social media just keeps on going. Pinterest, for example, now you can shop through Pinterest, the same as you've been able to do for a while on Instagram and Facebook. There's also a new feature launching where Instagram are going to be putting a WhatsApp chat button on your Instagram feed. So again, that's a conversion, looking at how you can communicate with your clients more. So as a business their audience might be on Instagram a lot, having tools like that in terms of, okay, how do I want my prospective customers to contact me? How do I want to make it easy for them to get in touch? You may look at using tools such as that. And then we can also generate conversions through what are now probably seen as more traditional methods, but through email, through things like SMS, and through direct messaging as well. So let's have an open mind as to all these different places that we now have where we can generate conversions, and we're not just looking at a transaction happening directly on your website. So as well, I thought it was worth talking about, before we get started, what's a good conversion rate. So presuming that most of you are here today because actually what you want to generate more conversions. You've seen the headline, you've gone, that's what I need. I want to get more conversions coming through my website. First of all, do you know how many you're getting realistically? Have you got tools in place to measure that? And we'll look at that a bit later. But also, do you know what your conversion rate is? Because a lot of the time what we see is actually it may just be a perception, I want more, but actually your conversion rate may be great considering the amount of traffic that you get to your site, or whatever that may be. So when we look at it, the average conversion rate can be anywhere between 1% to 3%. So for example, when clients ask us, okay, what can I expect the return to be from this activity that we're doing, we always use that kind of benchmark of a conversion rate. We'll typically as well always start at the lower end because then it's setting more realistic expectations, but with the aim to obviously be able to far succeed them. So yeah, you're looking at a conversion rate of around 1% to 3%. The calculation of that is literally from a website user to a conversion. So that's what we're looking at. So if you get 100 users, a 1% conversion rate, one of them is going to convert. So they're either going to inquire with you, ring you, or make a purchase online. So those are the kind of typical rates that you should expect to be seeing. There are then, of course, cases far outside of that. So it's worth noticing, like the top 10% of companies typically see up to 5 times higher conversions. But it's about being realistic, you know, don't compare yourself. You know, we had a prospective client who's just launching an online perfume business, but they compare themselves to Superdrug and expecting the same conversion rate. You know, as a startup, that's not going to happen. So be realistic about what you can generate and be more conservative so that you're actually able to at least measure appropriately and know what's working for you and what's not, and where to invest your budget. And then interestingly, only about 22% of businesses are satisfied with their conversion rates. So again, maybe those of you on the call today would group yourself into the remaining 78% that aren't happy, you know, if you're on this call today. But yeah, I'd encourage you to have a think about like actually benchmarking yourself. Do you have a good conversion rate, or actually are you underperforming? So you want to look at ways to generate more conversions through the site. As well, one thing I really want to encourage you in a key takeaway from this session is to get specific about your conversions. So it's all too often, you know, as a web design agency, people come to us typically with a website that they have already. And quite often the reason they come to us is because they're not generating as much conversions as they would like to. They're not happy with their conversion rate. So therefore they're looking for a change. And actually what we might see is, okay, it's very unclear what the conversion here is, you know, what is the action someone wants you to take. So really encourage you to kind of get specific about what do you want your website users to be doing on your site. Also to think as well about when you're measuring your conversions, are you looking for quality or quantity? So for example, at Trio Media, we're going to be looking for quality. You know, we don't need hundreds of conversions every month, but what we do want is really select number of good quality conversions. Whereas an e-commerce store, they may be looking for quantity of just the volume of sales coming through. So really start thinking about what is it, what are those things that are going to be meaningful to you, and concentrate specifically on those. So before we get started kind of in the tips and the best practices that I want to go through, just one more thing to note is if it's not clear to you what your conversions are, then, you know, you need to think about how can it be clear to my, you know, website visitor. So if they come on their site and you've maybe, your site could be the most lovely designed website in the world, but if you've not made it clear what you expect people to do when they are there, then you've got an issue, and that will be most likely why you're not converting. And I think people find it maybe at times a bit daunting to be like, in your face, you know, it feels very like brash to be saying, make sure you sign up to this thing, contact us for a demo, for whatever it may be, but that is what you need to do. I've actually just put an example in, and this is actually a friend of mine's website, so I'm hoping he doesn't mind that I've used it, but he came to me and he's like, right, Claire, I'm wanting to start investing in PPC on my website. I'm like, okay, why? I want to get more inquiries coming through. And this on the left, this is his homepage. Now, throughout the whole page, there is nothing that encourages someone to make an inquiry. I've got these two things that red circled because before we've even given them a chance to contact us to say, yes, I want to have a demo, whatever else, they've actually got in their menu, refer and earn. So they've not even actually got their own conversion, and they're already asking their website visitors to refer other people to them. So that to me was a massive red flag, you know, like, let's get the type of traffic and conversions in that you want, then we can think about how we ask those people for referrals. We've then also got the login, which is the kind of prominent call to action on this screen, but really where they are at the moment, they need to generate inquiries. They don't have a high volume of people coming in and logging into the website. So really thinking about how you use the real estate on your website to generate the type of conversions that you want. Interestingly, so this is right at the bottom of the page in the footer. That was the first and only place I found where to contact them, was linked in the footer at the bottom. And this is the type of thing that businesses are making the mistake of every day. And, you know, it's one of those things that sounds so simple once you know, but if you don't know, you don't know, you know. So if you're not thinking about how your website can be enabled to generate inquiries, you might make some of these mistakes as well, because you're thinking, oh yeah, contact page, let's just put that in the footer somewhere, but let's get this stuff that we really want to talk about up there. But one thing I always say is there's a difference between what you want to say and what people want to hear from your website. So you really need to think about that when you're looking at how you're structuring the site, creating the content to give people an experience that they want to take part in. So when we start looking at that then, and we're looking at what the user journey can look like and how you can optimize your site to generate more conversions. So first of all, from a menu perspective, really making sure that everything is in as few clicks as possible. I'd also extend that to scrolls, because, for example, the version I've just shown you of that website, yes, I only had to theoretically do one click to go onto the contact page, but I had to scroll all the way to the bottom and go find that in the footer. So really thinking about where you want people to go on your site and making it as easy as possible for them to get there. Again, sounds simple, but you'll be amazed how many websites make those mistakes. It's then really important to make it clear through the use of imagery, through the design of your site, through the content, what you can offer people to take away any barriers to entry. So something we do is an exercise called the top 20 reasons. I encourage anyone to do this. So kind of screenshot this page, or again, it'll be in the recordings afterwards. But we do this with any new client coming on board in a new website. As we go, okay, tell us 5 reasons people buy from you. Then tell us 5 reasons they don't. So what are their objections? 5 reasons people will come back to you, and then the 5 reasons that they don't come back. You know, so you have to be really honest with yourself, and this is best as a group exercise, typically, you know, getting different departments from your business involved. But if you can go away and answer those questions honestly, what you then have to think about doing is, how do we answer these objections in our website? So say, for example, we did this exercise again at Trio Media, and one of the reasons we said that 5 reasons people don't buy from us, you know, just being very frank, is that people have an expectation that SEO is an overnight fix. So that's an objection we come up against a lot, you know, or I expect to see immediate results from SEO, but SEO is a long-term strategy. So what we did is we then went and created content. How long does it take for SEO to work? So we're putting that publicly out there so that we know our prospective clients have had the opportunity to view that, answer their own objections about it, and then come and inquire with us. Equally, from the perspective of the why people will buy from you, well, are we telling them this? Are you the most competitively priced on the market? Have you won an award for what you've done? Are your products made all from natural ingredients? Whatever those things are that are going to set you aside and make people buy from you, put that in there. Because interestingly, what you think are your USPs versus what you come out with that why people buy from you might sometimes be different. And so when you do that exercise and you go, okay, hang on a minute, this is actually the reason people love us, let's make a song and dance about that. So really, really important exercise to do, to make it so clear when people are on your website what it is that you do, how you do it for them. You know, people might go, this isn't the right product for me. And you can answer that objection just through imagery. You know, if people see an image of that person is like me, therefore I'm in the right place, you know, you might be able to tell through the age or characteristics of people within a photograph, that then perceptually I can see I'm on the right website for me. So really think about how you can do that. And yeah, you know, if you can handle these objections, you go into remove barriers to a sale, and that can be an online or offline sale. So even if that's an inquiry coming through and someone that you will convert at a later date. We then need to look as well at, you know, those were kind of quite general website observations, but then we're looking at the optimization of your landing page as well. So video plays a really key part here. So the use of video on a landing page can increase conversions by up to 86%. So it's really worth thinking about, if you have video content, getting it on your landing page, if you don't, pick up the camera and get started. You know, or it can be cheaper than you think to create some great video content. There's also a few other tips in here. So removing the navigation bar on a landing page can increase your conversion rate by 100%. And yeah, we really recommend sticking to one call to action per landing page and making sure you're going to have, if it's a form, really have the form as high up on the right hand side as possible. We'll go into that in more detail, and giving people everything they need to know. So longer landing pages perform better than a short landing page. So don't just bring them on and have a few bullet points and then a conversion. Give them, you know, detail that they can go into, but also we do want to make sure that we're kind of asking for that conversion from the top of the page. But yeah, I would recommend when you're looking at building a great landing page, you're not going, watch this video, download a brochure, arrange a demo, get in touch, call our sales team, because all those different things, we've not had enough chance to kind of reiterate a point, and it's just going to dilute your chances of conversion. Whereas if we stick time and time again with request a free demo, what are they going to do? They're going to request a free demo, and that was probably the conversion that you wanted. So stick with that conversion, like we mentioned earlier, and take it from there. I also touched upon this, but form placement. So we've found this through our kind of years of research and building websites at Trio. I mean, we've built in excess of 150 websites over the past 4 years. The best performing contact forms perform best when they are placed as high up on the right hand side of the page as possible. Literally, from pretty much doing this, we've delivered 4 times returns for clients in terms of the number of conversions they were getting by simplifying their form and making it accessible. So we really encourage you to kind of think about having a form on every page possible, every landing page that someone's going to come on, then having the form on the right hand side. So you can have some summary text on the left, that maybe those key reasons to buy, the answers to the objections that you've covered, and then you have the contact form. And, you know, don't be shy, that can be repeated as well. The contact form could be repeated on the page if you have quite a long landing page. But yeah, I would encourage, if it is a form submission you want, instead of going contact us and then leading them to a form on a different page, embed the form in the page you want them to be on. So again, it's less clicks, it's less navigation, and they get to the conversion quicker. When we look at the optimization of forms as well, because for most kind of B2B organizations, because Joanne's going to cover a lot more about the e-commerce side, a lot of B2B websites is probably a form fill that you're most likely looking at. So what we generally say as a rule of thumb is the shorter the form, the more conversions you'll generate. You know, so there's a stat here about you can get 120% increase in conversions when you take a form from 11 fields down to 4. So what I would really suggest you think about here is, and this conversation came up just earlier today with someone asking, well, can we put on the form what it is they're looking for? What I always challenge back and say is, are you going to contact them anyway? If you're going to contact them, get as few details you need that would make you contact them. So, you know, often we see, oh, well, let's ask them how many employees they've got. Let's ask them their job title. Let's ask them, you know, their location, all these different things. Unless those fields are going to give you information that would mean the difference between whether you will or won't contact them, because it's a qualification criteria, don't ask it. You know, get to the crux of it. We don't even ask for company name in our form. We go, what do we need? We need their name, their email, and their phone number. Those are our 3 mandatory fields. And then there's a message box for people to fill in, because we know someone comes on our website and they inquire with us, we want to talk to them. So that's what we do. We minimize the barriers to getting to that point. And yeah, also a big one, you know, where did you hear about us? I know it's nice to have, but you could probably ask that on the phone. So think instead about asking your prospective customers to give you all this information, think about putting your sales team to work to get you that information. You know, you need to find out this in your follow-up phone call, but you don't need it necessarily as a reason to phone them. There's also just a few things here. So a submit is the most popular call to action button, which isn't, you know, out of the ordinary, because it's most likely to be on a contact form. but it can decrease conversion rate by 3%. So actually you could look at register, download, go, or click here. And all of those are actually going to increase your conversion rate. The one thing I would say as well is all of this should be seen as an opportunity to A/B test. So go on and see what's right for you and your business. So yes, absolutely, check it out, follow this advice, but then put it into practice for you and your industry. Newsletter signups. This is a bit of a bone of contention for me. So which is why I've said tread carefully. So often we see and hear people go, yeah, I want a newsletter sign up on the site. And we go, okay, great. What's your newsletter? Well, I don't have one, but I want to capture it in case I send one in the future. Or yeah, it needs work. You're wasting prime real estate and a call to action on your site for a coulda, woulda, shoulda, like something that might happen in the future. Use your call to action wisely for something that you really need. If the most beneficial call to action you have is a newsletter sign up, then great. But again, think about how you're going to maximize your chance of getting those conversions. Are you telling people what they can expect in your newsletter? You're saying, this is a weekly newsletter, and in it, you're going to get 3 tips about digital marketing. We're being really clear about what they can expect, because if we're not, that's probably why people aren't signing up to your newsletter, because you've not even told them why they should sign up. So you see it a lot, just sign up to our newsletter with no real clear call to action. So I'd just encourage you to think twice if you're looking at that as a call to action, or if you already have that on your website. I mentioned earlier that I also wanted to talk about phone calls. So as much as this is seen as a offline conversion, your online presence is very much going to drive phone calls for you. So for example, for us, again, in the B2B industry, we only invest in digital marketing. So we have our website, we do our own SEO, PPC, and social media. We get more phone call inquiries than we get form inquiries. People want to ring up and talk to a person. So don't shy away from offering that as a service. Again, I see people, it's really hard to find the phone number, but actually you could just be missing out on people that would like to contact you that way, and you've made it really difficult for them to find that as an option. We actually have a client who works in the telecoms industry, and through some data they could see that phone calls into businesses, and this wasn't just in the peak of its chaos, but across the past year, phone calls have doubled. And people are sick of doing this kind of thing. They're sick of the webinars, they're sick of online. If they've got an opportunity to ring someone, walk away from their desk for a little bit, that's what they want to do. So actually now more than ever, phone calls for your business can be really important. So really consider you to think about, do we want to enable and equip our teams to be talking on the phone? Are they equipped to be able to convert those phone calls? And then also, how are you going to measure that? So it's probably a conversation for another time if anyone's interested, but we do actually have a solution for tracking phone calls that can convert it using AI and actually give you a full kind of transcription of the call, which you can then tag up as a sale, an inquiry, whatever it may be. So something again to consider about how you're going to track these things. And then reviews can be really important again to when you're looking at generating those online conversions. So 15% of consumers wouldn't trust a business who doesn't have reviews. I really encourage you to think about signing up for something like Trustpilot or Google or reviews.io, or something that might integrate with your kind of e-commerce platform to actually use that as a way of gaining credibility with your prospective buyers. It can also, I've put, good reviews can become a USP, because for us, we've only ever had a 5-star review across all platforms. So we then use that as a USP. Well, why do people shop from us? Because they can see that actually we've got 100% satisfaction rate. So we lead with, we've got 5-star reviews. So it can be a really useful tool when you're looking at generating conversions. And then how are you going to measure the success? Again, we touched upon this earlier, but there's so many different ways. So again, if you've come on this call because you're looking at how to maximize your online conversions, and you may be, like we said, in that 78% of people that aren't happy with your conversions, how are you measuring that? is it because you're not making enough revenue, or is it because you don't have the number of clients that you want? You know, you need to really start thinking about actually what metrics are valuable to you, and, you know, focus on that one, because yes, ideally everything will grow. But if it's a perception of, well, we've not got that many new clients, but actually, do you know what, the revenue you're getting from the clients that you are generating far exceeds your normal like average order value, then amazing, you're doing really well if revenue is a metric you're going to look at. Like I said as well, most companies probably don't actually know their conversion rate. So again, looking at that, is it within the industry average? So actually, is my conversion rate doing okay? But I want to get higher value conversions. And again, could that then be answered by the content that's on your website that is positioning it towards the type of audience that you want to appeal to? So there's a number of different metrics that you could consider, and I encourage you to look at, for you to really get under the skin of what it is that's going to be valuable for you when you're measuring the success of your conversions. And that brings me to the end of my section. So I'm going to hand over to Joanne. I pretty much told you a little bit about what Trio Media do already. You know, we very much position ourselves as we build websites and campaigns that convert. This is what we know inside and out, like we're conversion specialists. So if you would like to talk to someone in more detail, please do get in touch. You can scan that QR code quickly. That would take you to our link tree, which has got our website link in there. It's also got an invite to the party that I mentioned earlier. So I would like to invite you all, if anyone is interested in meeting face to face, carrying on the discussion. On Thursday of this week at 5 p.m. at Mannahatta on Merrion Street, we're putting on a party. It's free drinks, free food. Really encourage you to sign up and come along and meet us. But yeah, anyone who is looking for some support with their conversions following this session, we will do a free review of your website to check how well optimized it is. So yeah, please get in touch using those contact details or via our website through the QR code, and I hope to see you at our party on Thursday. So I'm going to hand over now to Joanne, who will go into more detail about the e-commerce side.
Okay, thank you, Claire. No, fantastic. As I mentioned, I work for an e-commerce personalization company, but yeah, what I want to do today is really talk more around e-commerce conversion best practices. So just to start off, I mean, you know, as Claire said, browsers are great. It's great having traffic to your site, but you know what's even better? Those are the buyers. Those are the people that convert. So all the hard work that you've done in getting the visitors to your e-commerce site, it's easy to overlook the last step, and that's just persuading them to make a purchase or to convert, so they'll talk to you. Give it some scale. In 2020, e-retail, for example, totaled £14.2 trillion. I mean, the size of it. So, you know, getting your e-commerce game is definitely pays off. The trick is just convincing them that, you know, your business is the one for them. So, you know, complicated and buggy websites are the most frustrating things that visitors find when they come to the site. 34% of consumers said this, and this is taken off a recent PayPal report that came out 2 months ago, which I'm happy to share a link with you at the end with. You know, other issues that people had: too many ads popping up, 29%, you know, speed of website and lack of product information were the biggest bugbears that people find when they are landing on your website. It's all about the experience. You know, you need to make sure that your website is meeting your buyers' needs. We all know things have changed over the last 18 months, the increase of demand on online shopping. So it's even more important now that expectation is there. It's not going to go away. Things aren't going to change. People expect to have a great experience once they've landed on your site. So data is a huge aspect of, you know, people know that, you know, big brother's out there. We're collecting data all the time. People generally don't mind sharing data, their own personal data, in order to get what they need from an online shopping experience. You know, if they get something back, if they get a reward, better service, or personalized offers, or a personalized experience, they're more than happy to share some data with you. So just at the last point there, the top factor that's driving customer loyalty online, getting people to keep coming back to your site, is all about the customer experience. You know, how valued do they feel? You know, is it a one-to-one dialogue? You don't want to feel like a number. You know, it's all about creating that in-store experience online and, you know, emulating that whole personalized journey. So what I wanted to do was just give you some questions to ask yourself about your business. Claire's already mentioned about landing pages, like, you know, your home page and your landing page is absolutely critical. It's your shop window. But, you know, I think you have to be honest and ask yourself, how much do you actually know about these people that are coming onto your site? We can all go into our Google Analytics and see the traffic coming in, but what do we actually know about them? What profile, you know, what's their demographic, their likes, what do we know about them? So how can we talk and create that dialogue back? Are you showing them information that's relevant to them? So if Claire was to land on a retail site, are we showing products to Claire that she likes, that we know that she's, you know, going to be more likely, more interested and buy? And are you enabling your site so that people can find what they're looking for quickly? So, you know, these are just some initial questions that I want you to have a think about. This is just an example of a website that we've done, but the graphic on the left, and these guys are, Life Sportive are, you know, a mid-market size sportswear brand. And, you know, if Claire was to land on this site, I'm sorry, Claire, I'm using you as an example here, but we know you're a good gym sports enthusiast. So,
that's what we tell people.
The graphic on the left really wouldn't resonate with Claire. You know, it's not talking to her. It's not, you know, there's nothing relevant on there. But the graphic on the right, through tools like e-commerce personalization, for example, and other tools which I'll come on to talk about, you know, it's going to resonate so much better. It's, you know, it's showing her products and offers that she knows that she loves. So she thinks, okay, this is really relevant. So, you know, having a vanilla generic experience for all of your customers really is not what people expect these days. They want to have, they want to see offers, products, promotions, graphics. Claire, you've already mentioned about, are they seeing people of a similar age group? You know, they're in the right place to buy. So it's really important that that's key. You get that right. So is your website mobile responsive? So according to this PayPal report, I mean, 77% of recreational mobile browsers will impulse buy.
That was me, sorry.
Oh, it's all right. So they're going to do impulse buys on their mobile. I do it all the time. You know, I very rarely now go onto my laptop to buy online. I always use my mobile. So if you've got a website, you do need to make sure that it's optimized for mobile, you know, and it's no longer good enough just to make sure that you've got a great looking web page. You know, whatever device the customer's using, you need to make sure that your website is responsive and a good experience, whether that is through a tablet, whether it's on the desktop, or whether, you know, more importantly now it's on the mobile. And 93% of customers, when they're buying online, would rather use an app. I mean, take a look at your own mobile phone, you've probably got a handful of apps there already, and you wish that there were more that you can just click on, go straight to the brand, straight to the, you know, to the seller and buy directly. So mobile is absolutely key. And then you've got to look at things like, you know, how easy is it, are you making it for people to find what they're looking for? How effective are your search and filters? You know, do you offer a predictive search? Are you showing people recommendations on products that you know they'll love? Are you pushing them to the top, you know, rather than having them to do the hard work and find things? How easy are you making it for them to find them? Are you providing intuitive filters? You know, so it's just questions to say, you know, look at your own website, look at how you're selling online, and are you offering these? Because if you're not, there's some really easy and good plugin tools now that you can plug into your website and that will put all this into practice for you cost effectively. So I'm going to then jump across to back to what Claire's talked a bit about, you know, providing reassurance to your customers. Product reviews, can't talk highly enough about product reviews. You know, I will come on to talk about that in a bit more detail, but again, I'm a bit of a data-driven girl, but 45% of consumers in this PayPal report, you know, will only buy with stores that offer testimonials, product reviews. It's that, you know, reassurance that other people have bought, liked, and it's a good product to buy. So I personally always read reviews when I go to buy something, what people said about it. But not only that, with the reinsurances, how are you giving them other tools that they can access you through, whether it's through live chat, and crazy as the world's been over the last 18 months, a lot of people do shop at 2 o'clock in the morning, and if you've not got somebody there to pick the phone up, what kind of reassurance can you give them in out of hours? So there's tools now, things like personalized Autobots, which are intuitive Q&A sessions that help navigate people to the information that they're looking for. And even as simple, we're not here right now, but leave me your email or your phone number and we'll contact you straight away in the morning. So all of those give people reassurances that they're buying from the right place. And then onto your checkout, checkout and payment options. It's great to have a fantastic website. You've got all the products there, but when you come to your website, is it clunky? Is it hard to navigate? Does it provide that reassurance? It's got to be secure. But one of the key things, and I did this with a company called Kumo based over in Ireland, and we talked about shipping and delivery. If you've got 5 or 6 things in your basket, and then you come to the shipping options and you're not going to get it for 2 weeks, and if I want to return it, I've got to pay to return things. People are not going to buy from you. So you need to make sure that you offer various shipping and delivery methods, whether that's click and collect, and then onto your payment options. This is the last hurdle that people are coming to making that final purchase. You need to make the checkout as problem-free as possible. You can use things like autofill features for addresses or previously saved information that they've had. You can make it quick and painless. So just be careful not to put any barriers up at this stage, such as sign-ups or demanding non-essential information. Just make it really clean. But yeah, make sure your website has got a variety of payment options available to suit whatever customers come to your site, whatever they want to pay. There's lots of different ways now. You've got Klarna, Apple Pay, PayPal, which is, quite old now, but, people do look for other options apart from just putting in their debit or credit card details. And each of these must provide secure payments and promptly send receipts to customers. If you're going to build that trust with these new buyers. So, regardless of whether you've just started out or setting up your e-commerce business, or you've been around for quite a while, when it comes to money, people want to know that their money's in secure and they're in a safe place. And then I'm going to come on a little bit in a minute to talk about abandoned baskets. If you're not incentivizing any abandoned baskets to come back to your site and buy, how many times you can ask yourself when you're shopping online and you put things in the baskets and then you get distracted, the dog starts barking or the kids need something and you think, I'll come back to that, and you forget, absolutely forget, or you think a lot of people use baskets just to say, oh, I quite like that, and have a kind of a little pot of things that they quite like to buy. But then, life is busy, people get distracted. And the amount of baskets that are left, without going through to purchase is huge. So if you're not doing anything to re-solicit those customers to say, hey, these things are still in your basket, how about 10% off? I think most people are wised up to the fact now, if they add things to basket and if they leave it, over the next 7 days, they'll get a couple of emails with an increased incentive to come back and buy. But if you're not doing any abandoned basket retargeting, then that's something that you do need to look at. So what I wanted to do was just now talk about, we could talk about this, and I'm going to come to Claire's party on Thursday, so I'll be there as well. So, there's a huge amount of things that you can do to meet these new customer demands. So I've kind of picked a handful of things that, if you're not, some of them may not be relevant for some of you, because I say we are focusing on e-commerce, but just some of the top tips I wanted to give you for maximum conversion. It's all about getting that browser to buy and what you can do on your website to encourage that. So the first thing is product information management. So I don't know if any of you use a PIM system, but if you've got multiple SKUs on your website and, if you've got, hundreds, even thousands of SKUs, managing those products and making sure that they all look consistent is absolutely, key. And you've got to make sure your products are displayed properly. You know, you need to give the buyer the information that they need. This could be through, you know, size comparison images, descriptions with ingredients used, product warnings, all that kind of thing. And it's making sure that not only on your website, but as Claire said earlier, it's on the different channels that you're selling through, things like Amazon, Etsy. A PIM system will connect with these and make sure that, you know, your products, videos, whatever you're showing is consistent and well presented. Pricing, you know, make sure you're selling at your best price. And you've still got to make a margin, but don't outprice yourself from the market. It's a very competitive market now, and people are selling through, as I say, through Amazon. I've worked with retailers previously where, you know, they were trying to sell for their sort of RRP on the website, but then they would have trade customers selling their products for cheaper on Amazon. You know, so it's about, you know, making sure that you've got a system in place or a piece of software that will make sure you can see what your products are being sold for by the different channels, and making sure that you're pricing yourself competitively. The third one, and it's going back to the graphic I showed you earlier, is about e-commerce personalization. So everyone has been shopping online, but they've lost that social interaction, that, you know, that kind of feeling valued when you walk into a shop, that, you know, hi, you know, welcome Claire, you know, nice to see you again. You know, we know that you love this particular brand. Let me show you some products that I know that you're going to love that have just come in. That kind of dialogue that a normal good shopkeeper, or they're not called shopkeepers anymore, are they? But, you know, staff in a shop that you go in would provide for you. It's providing that one-to-one unique shopping experience. And then social proofing. So absolutely huge, you know, these reassurances, and I'm going to come on to talk a little bit more about that, how you can get reviews and endorsements. And the world is changing, and, you know, corporate social responsibility, it's about putting something back. The PayPal report, you know, I think over half the population based between 19 and 31 years of age will only buy from retailers that offer something back to the community in some way or shape or form. And if you do, you really need to shout about it. You know, if you can align yourself with a great cause and put something back, and it doesn't have to be to an overseas charity or anything, it could be anything that you know, being ethical, and people will align with that quickly. And then the last point is about the abandoning their baskets. So yeah, let me talk a little bit more about product information management systems, and these companies that I'm about to talk about, these, say for example Pimberley, these are organizations that we at Pure Clarity partner with, because we, you know, we have a number of clients that are using both ourselves and them, but we highly rate them. So and at the end, you know, if you want any contact details for the people or an introduction to any of these organizations, just, you know, let me know and I'll put that in place for you. But, you know, your images and descriptions, as I say, need to be providing the buyer with everything that they need. And it could be through, I don't know, size comparison images, making sure the images are high quality, you know, but it's allowing the customers to see the details that they need, and that you've got nothing to hide. You know, information about postage and packaging or payment methods, you know, can be really helpful. So rather than getting partway through the checkout and realizing the simple additional costs, you know, a good product information management system will allow your customers to make good informed decisions, and there'll be no hesitation then when it comes to checkout. So a good PIM, as I say here, helps you as a brand, as a business, collect and enrich and store product data in a single location, and it allows you to publish your products quickly and effectively and consistently. You know, and if you are a retailer, you know, on the call, on the meeting here, and you've got hundreds of thousands of SKUs, say for example, and you've got lots of complex product relationships about, you know, parent product, and then you've got all the variables, size and colorways, it helps you manage those as well. So yeah, it's all about making sure that your products look great, whether it's the descriptions, whether it's the sizing, you know, video fact sheets. A PIM will help you do that. And then about the pricing, you know, pricing is always difficult because we all want to sell at our maximum RRP for best margin, but you really do need to understand where your prices stand against your competitors, and look at where you are in the market. you know, what is your, going back to what Claire said about what your USPs are, you know, it's really about making sure that those USPs are reflected in the price, but without outpricing yourself, because people do shop around. You know, they will come to your website, but the chances are they've probably been to 2 or 3 alternatives trying to find similar products at a better price. So you really should try and have your entire inventory priced automatically if you can. And again, working with Black Curve help loads of business do this. And it just makes sure that, you know, your positioning within the market is maintained. You know, you can, so here you can use your sales history to enhance your pricing automation. But yeah, pricing is key, especially if you're selling on multiple channels and you're in a very competitive market. Using a pricing optimization plugin such as Black Curve is perfect for you. And then, well, Pure Clarity, that's what we do. But the beauty about what we do at Pure Clarity is that we work with e-commerce businesses. You know, some of them are small, some of them are huge, but, you know, we work with a huge amount of SMEs, massive amount of SMEs in the UK. We have the plugin software that allows you, and it's just a plug-in and play to optimize your online experience. And we've got a range of features that are all inclusive, that just allows you to create that, you know, personalized banner, you know, show products that you want, give you the live chat, gives you the Autobot, personalized Autobots, you know, it's all about customer segmentation. So it's all about making sure that when Claire lands on my website, Claire sees things that are only relevant to her, that we know she'll love and that we know that she's going to buy. And it's all about, for us, our remit is increasing online conversion. So for example, our clients on average increase their online conversion by about 26% within 3 months of using Pure Clarity. There are other providers in the market, but as I say, Pure Clarity is more targeted towards the SME market. And then, yeah, making sure that your customers love your brand. And this is all again about the reviews. People listen to recommendations from other people, you know, far more than those, you know, of your company. They want to know what other people think of you. So providing social proof that your product is desirable, it just solidifies in the buyer's mind that this product is popular. It's one of those psychological triggers that, you know, makes us want, you know, something even more and convinces us, you know, to buy it. Somebody else has got it, other people want it. So, you know, whether displaying customer reviews with your products or showing ratings or, you know, allowing buyers to like their favorite products, social proof is, you know, the virtual equivalent of showing up at a school and the product, you know, and people, you know, showing a product that everyone's talking about. It's, you know, everyone wants one. But it also boosts your credibility and trustworthiness. If you've got a number of good reviews recommending your products, it's really worthwhile. User-generated content as well. If you use something like Yotpo, they bring the Instagram experience to your site, you know, with photos, experiences, review, you know, it's all about how your product is being used in day-to-day life. It makes it real. And then the other thing that you can do is maximize on referrals. So if you've got a loyal customer base, one segment of your customers is very loyal, you know, get them to spread the word, set up referral programs. You know, as I say here, nothing is more powerful than word of mouth. And then the final, second to final point is about giving something back. So if you have, and you know, we all know that big corporate organizations have big CSRs programs in place, but as a smaller company as well, it's really easy for you to do this as well, because what it does is it builds trust between your company and your customers. And it positions you as being ethical and responsible. And as I say, you know, people are more likely to buy from a company that supports and engages. And that's just a quote there from the UK Business Consortium. But we work with Sociable. They're fantastic as well. They do all this kind of thing. But again, there are a number of providers, and I'm happy to give you a list of different people that are working in this space that would align or sit nicely with your business if you want that. And then finally, let's not let people put things in the cart and walk away. So scarily, average cart abandonment rate is nearly 76%, you know, and nearly 86% on mobile phones. So there's a huge opportunity here to increase your conversion just by approving, you know, and having an abandoned cart program in place, whether that is through emails or whether, or they have to be through emails. But nearly half of the emails that are sent out to people are opened. You've forgotten something in your basket, why not come back? Or, this is something else that you'll love and you've got these in your basket, here's, 10% off, or an incentive to come back and buy, whether it's points earned or something that they get back if it's a reward. People will come back to your site and buy. So you could use things like exit pop-ups, automated email reminders, or SMS reminders. Really, it's pretty standard practice to have email reminders for abandoned carts in place. But if you don't do that, I would really, really encourage you to put something in place. And CartStack, again, is one of a number of providers that you can do this really easily for you. And all of the providers that, the businesses that I'm talking about here are extremely cost effective. So it's really worth exploring if it's not something you're already doing to improve your conversion. So I've talked about what Pure Clarity can do. We are e-commerce personalization, a number of features that we offer, but more here, your conversion here, 72% is our average conversion. You can increase your average order value and your revenue. We do offer a 30-day free trial. Sorry, I clicked there. If you are interested, with no obligation, you don't have to pay anything, just try it out. So if you are interested, do reach out and get in touch, and I'll give you a personalized chat about what it'll do for your business in particular. So yeah, that's my contact details if you do want to. But as I say, I'll be at Claire's party on Thursday night if you are going along. So if you do, it'll be great to meet you and have a chat further.
That was amazing. Thanks, Joanne. Really useful information. And we partner with you, so we also resell Pure Clarity into our customers, but it's always nice to learn something new about the platform and how it works as well. So I'm just going to click into the chat. So if anyone's got any questions, please do feel free to put it in there. I'll just stop sharing the screen. A couple of people asking if the presentation will be available to you afterwards. So yes, we will be sending out the recording of the presentation later on today. So you'll have that to revisit and come back to. Obviously, as both Joanne and I have said as well, like, please do genuinely reach out to us. Also, if you have any questions, we'd be happy to keep the conversation going. As well as, obviously, it would be really great to see you all on Thursday for anyone that fancied coming along. Is there anyone that wants to? Oh, so we've got a question for you, Joanne. So have you seen a big influence from social shopping, and what click-through rate would you expect from these?
Hi, Andy. Is that, yeah, okay, Andy. Yeah, social shopping via social media is massively on the rise, with apps, such as Instagram and Facebook introducing more shopping features, and the popularity of shopping apps, they're skyrocketing. From a click-through rate, I think the click-through rate from what we've seen on the social is usually around, the clients that we work with, between 9 and 10% clicking through from social media. But that, put that into perspective, it was around 2 to 3% 2 years ago. So the growth, and I predict this is going to go up a lot higher than that. So I predict within the next 2 years, social media shopping is probably going to skyrocket. It will depend. It depends, Andy, on which target, who you're talking to. If you're talking to the, millennials, Gen X or Gen, it depends on which group. But I think for the sort of 17 to 30-year-olds, social media conversion, I think, will go probably as high as 30% in the next 2 years. And that's my prediction, but only from the reports and the insights that we have from working with our clients.
Andy's then just continued that from those 10%, what would you expect in B2B?
B2B, I expect to be lower. B2C is the kind of stats that I've mentioned there. So B2B, I would expect it to sit probably around the 3 to 5% conversion on the B2B side, 5 probably being high.
Yeah, I think it's worth saying
3%.
as well. Obviously, it could be B2B, but it could still be transactional. So it's really going to depend what your business is and then where your audience is spending their time. Because you could be B2B, but actually, yes, Facebook, loads of your clients are there because you might be selling to sole traders, and actually they do spend a lot of the time online. So the conversion rate there could be quite high. Whereas if it's a completely different industry, you're not really transacting online, then the social click-through might be far lower. It's also a stat that I pulled out the other day that I didn't put in presentation, but just as a note for anyone who is producing content on social media for online shopping, is that on Instagram, user generated content performs far better. I think it was 45% more conversions than content generated by the brand. So if you are doing any influencer marketing or anything like that, then actually using that content that your audience is creating can help you generate more conversions. We've also had another question come through. Is there much evidence surrounding cross-platform researching leading to buying? So social shop, website, then buy via preferred shop route, e.g., on social, on a third party, or on home. I mean, from our perspective, you can track that to a degree, because any sale, you can see the source where that has come from. And you can certainly start digging into that in Google Analytics in terms of the buyer journey and, how many visits it's taken for them to come onto your site. Typically, with any e-commerce clients we work with, we'll always have a look, and you'll typically see the revenue they generate from returning visitors versus first-time visitors is so much higher. So that does suggest that obviously people will come on your website and leave before they actually transact. So they're not going to necessarily transact on their first visit, but they're going to shop around, and then you can see that data for where they're coming and researching you from in Google Analytics.
And there's in Google Analytics as well, there's the attribution modeling, so you can see the various channels that they've been to prior to the actual final purchase. So you can almost proportion whether it's your social media or whether it's all referral websites or other places like Marketplace. You can attribute a value of that final sale to what journey people are going through.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any other questions, or shall we wrap it up? It's been just in case anyone does want to put one in, I just want to take the time to thank everyone for joining. I think it's been a great discussion, and looking forward to connecting with some of you who've popped your details in the chat as well. So it looks like that's it for questions, but like we say, we hope you've got our contact details. They'll be sent around afterwards as well, so if you do want to carry on the discussion, please reach out to us, or like we say, it would be great to see some of you in person on Thursday. So thank you all for joining.
Thank you.